Bright colors, goofy sound effects, characters bouncing back from anything. Cartoons are safe, right? But what's actually worse than dying in a cartoon? Some cartoon characters don't get the mercy of death. They get eternity, erasure, fates that make you wonder what the writers were thinking. Today, we're looking at the most disturbing destinies ever given to animated characters. And the last one crosses into pure nightmare territory. Cartoons normally work like this. Death is reversible. Characters reset. Pain is temporary. That's the contract. No matter how bad things get, everything goes back to normal. Except, sometimes they don't. Sometimes a cartoon breaks its own rules. A character gets hit with a fate so permanent, the show just moves on. No reset, no recovery, just gone. Or worse, trapped forever. The worst destinies in cartoons never end. No escape, no relief, just existence stretched out forever. What makes a destiny worse than death? Eternal punishment, loss of identity, conscious suffering, complete isolation, being forgotten, trapped in endless loops. Every example we're about to cover checks at least 3 of these boxes. James Woods in a crate. Family Guy. Let's start uncomfortable. In Family Guy, Peter traps James Woods in a crate using candy as bait. Peter says it'll be examined by
top men.
Then we see a massive government warehouse, row after row of identical crates, all forgotten. The show parodies Raiders of the Lost Ark, but that makes it worse. It's not an artifact, it's a person, conscious, trapped in darkness. When he escapes, Peter traps him again. Same method, same warehouse. Why is this worse than death? Because he's alive in there, forgotten, and nobody cares. Squidward's Void. SpongeBob. Now let's get cruel. In the SpongeBob episode SB129, Squidward accidentally breaks a time machine and ends up in a place the show only calls nowhere. It's a white void, completely empty. No walls, no floor, no sky. Just white stretching forever in every direction. At first, Squidward's relieved. He says,
I may finally have found a place where I can be all.
And that's when the voices start. They come from everywhere and nowhere all at once, getting louder, overlapping, echoing. Squidward's own voice joins them. He starts screaming. He tries to run, but he just loops back to where he started. Because there is nowhere, there's nothing. Just him and the voices and the white void stretching on forever. Eventually, he escapes. But here's the thing. The episode plants a seed. What if he didn't? What if that void was permanent? Being erased from existence while still being conscious enough to know you're erased. That's not a punishment. That's cosmic cruelty. Why is this worse than death? Because even death is something. This is nothing. Forever. And you're awake for all of it. The Simpsons Fly. Treehouse of Horror. This one hits different. In a Treehouse of Horror episode, Bart gets his head swapped with a fly's body in a teleporter. The fly, but for kids. Except the episode doesn't fix it. Bart, still with his human head on a fly body, gets eaten by the creature. And the episode just ends. Most Treehouse of Horror segments reset everything. This one doesn't. Later, there's a scene of the family at dinner. Someone mentions there's something they were supposed to do, but if it was important, they'd remember. Bart's been forgotten. Why is this worse than death? Because Bart is still himself, still aware. But his identity is gone. His life is gone. Nobody remembers him. He just stopped mattering. Seymour the Dog. Futurama. And now we get heartbreaking. In Futurama's Jurassic Bark, Fry finds his fossilized dog, Seymour. The professor can clone him back to life. But Fry learns Seymour lived 12 more years after he disappeared. Fry says,
I'll never forget him, but he forgot me a long, long time ago.
He walks away, assumes Seymour moved on. Then the episode shows the truth. The final scene is a montage set to I Will Wait For You, Seymour waiting outside Panucci's Pizza. Seasons change, years pass, the world moves on, and Seymour never moves. He waits and waits, until he's old, until he can't wait anymore, until he lies down and closes his eyes. All because Fry said, "Wait here, I'll be right back." Seymour waited for 12 years, until death. Why is this worse than death? Because Seymour died waiting for someone who never came, and Fry will never know his dog spent 12 years waiting. Neither will ever know the truth. Bill Cipher's statue, Gravity Falls. Here's where things get existential. At the end of Gravity Falls, Bill Cipher gets defeated. His mind is erased, his physical form destroyed. And what's left? A statue. The final shot shows Bill's petrified form in live action, alone in a forest, stone, frozen, isolated. And the show implies he's still conscious inside. The finale includes a cryptogram. Later media suggests Bill is still aware, still trapped, still calling out. But nobody's coming. Bill existed for over 1 trillion years. He's immortal, which means he's not dying in that statue. He's experiencing eternity as frozen stone. Why is this worse than death? Because he can't move, speak, or act. But he can think, feel, remember. And there's no end. Ever. Notice the pattern? Cosmic indifference. The universe doesn't care. Characters move on. Life continues. The suffering person is forgotten or ignored. No villain to defeat. No evil plan to stop. Just reality being cruel. And here's the disturbing part. These shows use humor as camouflage. They wrap existential horror in bright colors and funny voices. We laugh because it's a cartoon, but that's why it works. The comedy doesn't make it less disturbing, it makes it more disturbing. The show says this is fine, while showing something absolutely not fine. Why do cartoons get away with this? Animation creates distance. Your brain doesn't process cartoon suffering like real suffering. Bright colors and exaggerated designs say, this isn't real. That's the shield writers use to explore dark themes. Live action couldn't do this, but cartoons? It's just another Tuesday. Writers know what they're doing. They use the format deliberately, and because we underestimate cartoons, they get away with it. Now, let's talk about the worst one, Adventure Time. Magic Man. Magic Man is a Martian trickster who torments people for fun. He's cruel, chaotic, and deserves punishment. He gets it, but not from justice, from love. His wife Margles was taken by GOLB, a cosmic entity of pure chaos. She wasn't just killed, she was erased from existence. Every trace of her gone, every memory wiped clean. Except for Magic Man's. He is the only person in the entire universe who remembers she existed. And Magic Man is immortal. He's lived for hundreds of years. He will never die. He will never forget. And he will never get her back. He's condemned to eternal grief for someone nobody else remembers. He can't move on, can't heal, can't share his pain, because to everyone else, she never existed. The show frames this as why he became cruel. He's broken by loss, acting out because pain is all he has left. And nobody knows, nobody understands. They see an annoying trickster. But he's carrying grief so complete that reality itself moved on from it. Why is this the worst destiny? Because it's permanent, inescapable. He's fully aware, and there's no closure, ever. No peace, no justice, no mercy of forgetting. Just forever. Here's the truth. The worst cartoon destinies aren't about pain, they're about permanence. We can handle death, but we can't handle characters erased, trapped, or broken forever. Cartoons traumatize us because they teach these ideas before we're ready. They show us the universe is indifferent, that suffering doesn't always mean something, and they do it with bright colors and silly voices, so we don't realize we're learning existential horror until it's too late. So, which cartoon fate disturbed you the most? Let me know in the comments. And remember, in cartoons, you can always come back from death, but some fates, you don't come back from those at all.